Let's go.
Leicester City are top of the league in pretty much every stat going. Most goals scored, most expected goals, best save ratio, most tackles won, lowest XG against, fewest goals conceded. It was a daunting task that none of us really expected to overcome, but this evening was coloured by a building series of disappointing losses prior to tonight. Sunderland are no pushovers, however, despite recent results. We are third for dominating possession and top of the division for successful dribbles. Fact of good that is, though, when you sit 15th for successful crosses. With some fans having an existential crisis over our promotion credentials, Mowbray did actually select a striker tonight. Patto started up front and Dan Neil returned to the lineup, but not quite in the same position. We lined up just like we had done at Stoke in a 4-1-4-1 formation with Ekwa as the holding midfielder and Neil and Job sitting in front of him. The average positions of the game showed this quite clearly. You can see Neil and Job operating together ahead of Ekwa consistently.
Now we are all set for the start on the field. Both teams in their traditional colours. It'll be Sunderland who will get the action underway in the red and white.
And so we kicked off at the King Power, and it was instantly clear that Mowbray was not here to concede the ball or territory. He was here to take the game to them.
Leicester straight into their stride at the summit this season, but Sunderland hope to show that they too can be contenders in the Championship.
Knowing that we are not great defensively, Tony decided it was better to attack and press than to defend against the best team in the league.
Yeah, the target for Roberts, set-piece specialist. He's delivered dangerously. Hasn't entirely been dealt with yet by Leicester. They just about got it clear.
And so we started brightly.
It's well worked. Burstow is the target in the middle. Didn't quite come for him, but it will reach Jack Clark. And Hermansen is in the way. Smart stop. Of all the players Sunderland would have wanted on the end of the opportunity, Jack Clark chief amongst them, but he couldn't quite make it count. Good stop from the Dane in goal, but back come the visitors again. It isn't threatening.
And we worked hard to press Leicester out of possession.
To give the free kick, Justin goes back to Hermansen again. And he's player of the year last year. Continuing the tradition of Danish goalkeepers in these parts. Quite work out for Everson last season. He does remain at the club but out of favour. And admitting he spoke to Kasper Schmeichel though about what to expect.
But Leicester tend to dominate games and are good at attacking with wave after wave of movement. So despite trying to disrupt their rhythm, they would still get chances, and one came early on with a corner.
Here have won it back well. Dewsbury Hall for Mavadidi. Reflection on that takes it for the corner.
Leicester tried to take it quickly because the one area they're pretty poor at is winning aerials. Leicester ranked 22nd in the division for winning them. Then, as the ball went out for another corner, someone remembered that Sunderland were perhaps the one team in the division worse at winning set pieces than they are. So they popped one in the box at the near post, and I think we all knew what was going to happen, as Justin lost his marker here to beat the taller Joe Bellingham and bury the ball past Patto for his first league goal in nearly 3 years.
Leicester City lead, just like that.
Sunderland defend corners as most teams do these days, with a mixture of man marking and zonal positioning. Leicester's corner is pretty well worked, but one we are set for and should be capable of defending. Inacho on the goal line here runs as if to collect the short corner, dragging Neil out of the goal line defence. This is deliberate to open up space for Justin to attack at the front post. As it happens, we're pretty well set, and Bellingham has the space for the header covered zonally, and Huggins has the line covered at the front post, so really this should be dealt with.
Relatively unchallenged here to steer the header home.
Bellingham doesn't see Justin coming and doesn't dominate the space against the shorter man, and Huggins has to stick to the post here and let Patto cover the inside. Both must do better here. But it's not the only thing wrong at this corner. As they line up to defend, you can see Job and Ballard in the zonal positions, and the rest man-mark the runners. It's 4-on-5 man-marking here, so those running to the front post are passed on, Justin in this case. But, as you already see, it's chaos there. Faes has got in front of Hume. Burstow has forgotten he's marking anyone at all, and that's going to be a free header at the back if the ball goes there. And as the camera rolls on, you can see the confusion of Equar and 09. Here, Vestergaard ends up in front of Equar. We do have Ballard to challenge zonally though, and Luke has lost Caseda. The whole thing is a mess. Justin's inertia gives him a steal on the static Bellingham, and it's all too easy. Essentially, the lads are just a bit weak here. They have to physically dominate the space, refuse to allow the opposition to have that leap or to meet that ball. Here, every single man is beaten across the line, and it isn't really good enough. The rest of the half continued with heavy Sunderland pressing and Leicester fashioning chances on transition. The Foxes had a couple of good chances to double their lead, but these chances were usually secured by the loss of ball in quick transition, whether by fair means or foul.
Won the ball back well here. Breaks for Dewsbury Hall. Looking for Mavadidi, who's able to get his shot away. He's unlucky. He'll keeper and post from Mavadidi. Really unlucky not to make it 2-0. The better of Hume. There was just a touch from Patterson onto the post.
Here Leicester cut us open, and this is quite simply that Huggins has played them onside through the centre of the park. If you listen carefully, you can hear Mobe screaming, "Get out!"
Confidently predicted there would be more. There's Wout Faes. Cassidy in space, knocks it down for Iheanacho! Off the post, back by Winks and blocked away. Patterson out of the equation with a shot across the goalkeeper. In fact, did he get a touch to it maybe even? Anthony Patterson.
But we were not being overrun. These were the product of errors or battles, and actually, we were very much in this game ourselves.
Seeing plenty of it. Here's Clark. Referee lets it go because it does come the way of Jack Clark, despite the fact Bellingham went down. Clark gets his shot away. Hermansen couldn't hold it. Trying to help it goalwards. Still hasn't been dealt with yet. 20 still forward for Sunderland, and it's Bellingham's header over the top. He just got underneath it. He had found a little bit of space there.
And as the half ended, Dan Neil was brought down by Wout Faes, but once again, the referee fails to make a crucial decision in our favour. Neil appeals to the linesman as he gets up, who should really be able to flag the foul here. And I have to say, once again, that the easy thing to do here from the official's point of view is watch the direction of the ball. When you do, it becomes easy to recognise that Faes gets nothing on it at all, and it has to be a penalty.
At Queen's Park Rangers and at Sheffield Wednesday. Look again at the challenge by Faes.
It isn't even given though, and we go into half-time a goal down, but we're still clearly in this game.
First half, Mavadidi and Iheanacho, the players.
The second half saw much of the same. Leicester pressing for a second, most effectively on transition.
Dan Neil with room in which to work. Spreading it wide for Roberts. They have worked it well. A little bit of space here for Patrick Roberts. The dancing feet takes him into the penalty area.
This is an absolutely great tackle.
Crowded out of it. Look at how quickly Leicester City were able to go through the gears on before Mavadidi to get some treatment. He had done really well. Stretch clear from deep inside his own half to reach the halfway line before the challenge from 09 came in. He got away from Bellingham. Low from the Sunderland skipper.
Patto nearly gifted Leicester a second.
Evidence of it from both of them. Sunderland have been as good as their manager's word. They've been brave and playing their usual game, but they have rather needlessly surrendered possession.
But saved his blushes with an outstanding save.
Trying to take advantage, just over the head of Iheanacho. It will come for Cassidy. Another super save from Patterson, who got his boot to the ball to keep.
And then moments later, a second stunning save. Patto was definitely keeping us in the hunt this evening.
It's going to come for Harry Winks. Time to look up to try and pick the pass. Cassidy again! And he's thwarted by Patterson again.
He had an outstanding night between the sticks.
That is twice now in very quick succession that he has prevented Cesare Cassidy doubling the Leicester lead. It wasn't the cleanest of contacts.
Patrick Roberts was excellent tonight.
Good ball for Roberts, and he brought it down beautifully. Kept his feet wonderfully well here, Patrick Roberts. Looking for support now from Neil. And the deflection takes it away from Clark.
He eventually got Pereira booked after turning him inside out once again.
And that's rather blatant by Ricardo Pereira, pulling back Roberts to prevent the counter-attack, and he would fully have expected the yellow card to come out.
And while some will complain he has no end product, on almost every occasion there was no one to pass to.
2 matches, the 15 that they played before tonight, they still lead here as well, but Roberts is in the mood to try and change that.
Part of our problem is that we don't have a striker running the channels. You see here no one is attacking the space, so there's no one for Patrick to pass to except those in front of the defenders, and arguably that's not a better ball, so he keeps going. Give him a runner breaking the line, and I'm sure he makes the pass.
From down Neil.
Burstow occasionally does, but most of the time he has to drop deep to collect the ball, and he acted largely as a pivot to transition the ball to our wide men.
It's a second go. Ball for Burstow. There's Clark.
His average field position here shows him occupying a considerably lower position than Clark and Roberts, and I don't really think that's where we want our striker operating. Now, of course, he can still make runs into the channel despite picking the ball up there, but we simply don't have people trying to break the line to pass to. It's part of our problem. Just after the hour mark, Mowbray brought on 3 subs. Cirkin Ba came on for Huggins and Burstow. This meant we had no striker on the pitch yet again. So Clark went up top and Ba onto the left. Chris Rigg also came on for a fairly quiet Equa, who once again failed to impose himself in the fashion we've become accustomed to. These subs did make an impact. Look at Cirkin demand the ball and point to where he wants it, and he drives it forward, giving it to Ba, who drives a ball into the 6-yard box just like we want. And Abdullah Ba is our most consistent crosser of the ball. He frequently puts balls across the 6-yard line. We just never have a striker there to get on the end of it. Pritchard then substituted Job, and the chances continued to come.
Move here and bring off Job Bell, a player that Enzo Maresca said his skill set was superbly suited to how he wanted to play. It's been backed up by what we've seen so far, but Sunderland continue to give this a go. Come forward again here. It might break for Pritchard, who got to it just ahead of the goalkeeper, and Ba couldn't keep the shot down. It's over the bar from Abdullah Ba. And Tony Mowbray knows what an opening that was for his side, and will be wondering if they're going to get a better one.
Ultimately, though, we couldn't find the equaliser. Yes, the ref denied us again, but this felt worse than it was because it made for 3 defeats on the bounce. In reality, we matched the runaway league leaders tonight. They normally brutally dominate possession against all other opponents, but tonight they couldn't. Our press was excellent in disrupting Leicester's rhythm, and in attack we gave them problems. 3 of the back 4 ended up on yellow cards, and we had a blatant penalty missed by the officials. All that shows that we were a genuine threat tonight. We might be out of the playoffs, but I assure you that is only for now. We are a good side, and we'll get a run at some point. Keep the faith, and I'll see you next time.